that they want to trust the Lord also, like Michelle and Jim Bob. You know, they just want to have all the children that God wants to give them.
Ginger was chosen as our chaperone, and then she had to be pulled off because the movie we were going to see had to be over 18. We chose Jana and John David. We thought, why not have a double date? We are from Arkansas, no.
Cameras make good chaperones, don't they?
Hey everyone, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It's Tuesday, December 6th. How is everyone doing? Oof, it has been such a busy, since Sister Wives started in September, it's been like nonstop for 3 months on this channel, and I have missed so much Duggar news for you, and I'm sorry. So many of you are here like daily for the Duggars, and I am like, I'm sorry, I have failed as a content provider, creator, and reporter. But I have an update on you on some new deets about Anna and some reintroductions of Miss Michelle and just some more things and stuff of the happenings of the Duggars. There's been a lot of new content that's been put out by Joanna Duggar. She's having a baby boy, and she's been sharing her journey over on her channel, Follow the Forsyths. There's been a lot of messages I've gotten from you guys like, oh, Austin did this, or Austin did that, and oh, her kitchen is messy, and I can't believe she did this, and trying to focus on other content at this point. Like, if Joanna has something to say about the secrets of the Society of the IBLP, I will be waiting on bated breath. But in regards to, like, she did cut her hair and it looked gorgeous. And some of you were like kind of mad because Austin apparently was like, oh, it could be longer. I'm like, oh, humanity, right? But Joy did cut her hair and it looks really cute. But you know, Jess is kind of like toned down and like chilled out. Jed isn't posting any damage control right now. And I was like scooting on by, reminding myself that there was this one video I was gonna make you a couple months ago, and I just totally forgot. And I think it's interesting because we're coming on the holidays, and it sort of is in line with why Anna Duggar has found herself where she is today, which is broke as a joke. So let's talk about Anna Duggar selling off the remainder of her assets to free Josh from jail. Can you believe it? I know. Imagine being this desperate to believe in a false conspiracy. But that's where we have found ourselves. So let's start on this new video. Can you do me a big favor? Before we get started, can you give this video a thumbs up? Also, if you have not subscribed to my channel, click the subscribe button down there, and make sure to click the bell if you want to be notified of any new content that I put out there, and leave some comments if you have something to say. Subscribing is always free. Okay, so listen, there's been a lot of drama happening with the Duggars and Anna, and there's been like all these different articles have been put out by insiders of Anna Duggar, basically claiming there's this huge disconnect between her and her in-laws and this widening gap between them. And I was like, yeah, I mean, they're mad at you because you're not admitting that he's guilty and you still think he's innocent, and you're fighting with everyone, and you tried to blame some of their friends. I mean, why else wouldn't they be mad at you? But it's easier for Anna to deflect and blame on other people other than her husband. Living in denial has to be really a safe island for her, right? So if she doesn't have to acknowledge that her husband is doing all of these bad things, then she doesn't have to acknowledge the mess that her life has been that's been created around her life. So if she can hold on to that hope that Josh is innocent, she doesn't have to deal with the reality that he did these things, or that he could have possibly done things to her kids. She can still think this was done by some random guy, i.e. Caleb Williams or whoever it is that they're blaming today or tomorrow, And she doesn't have to think about Josh being that he was doing this terrible stuff while he was at work and sending her text messages that he was doing work when he was really doing this other really horrible stuff. She doesn't have to deal with the reality that her husband is this person that is going to be on a list for the rest of his life and be on have release conditions that make it impossible for him to live with her kids. She doesn't have to deal with any of that as long as she thinks he's innocent. Now, if his appeal is denied, and I suspect it will be, she might have to come to the realization that this is what it is, and this is who he is, and there's no turning back. And maybe at that point, you might see some change. There's people saying that she might be interested in leaving and reevaluating. I haven't heard that at all, but again, that's just me. So I wanted to talk to you about what's been going on financially with her, because things are getting tight. So if you know anything about defense, and if you know anything about the lengths that the Duggars took to defend Josh, they hired a forensic expert who charged a lot of money. They hired a private investigator to interview witnesses and track down people and track down the real person that did this. And they did a team of high-powered attorneys in Missouri that they believed would be the answer for Josh, which wasn't really the answer for Josh. And they spent a lot of money. Now, the amount of manpower that they've had on this case, the number of attorneys that they've had on this case, and the length of time that this case has been going on, I would estimate that this family has spent more than $1 million, if not $2 million, on his defense costs. And appeals are even more expensive. And so what did Anna have to do in October, late October, and into this fall? Well, she had to sell more property. So if you have been wondering, how is Anna subsidizing all of what she's doing to pay for his fees, legal fees, she has been one by one selling off every piece of property that she and Josh had acquired in their marriage. And the most recent was a home that was built in Bella Vista. It was a property that was owned by Josh Duggar. The sale of the home was facilitated by Joseph Duggar, and the home sold for $450,000. Now, I don't know what percentage she made on the sale of that home, because I'm sure a certain percentage had to be paid to the builder, and another chunk went to real estate fees, but she sold it for $450,000. It was a brand new construction that I'm assuming Jason Duggar built for Josh. It's so messy how involved all these brothers are. And then at the same time, brothers are trying to disconnect themselves from Josh. It's such a mess. Property sale went through, and it was on October 11th, and they sold for $450,000. Now, this is the largest and last piece of big real estate that Anna held. Remember how they formed all of those different companies? Well, they sold the house, that big house that was gutted out that they were going to live in. So their dream house, their new estate, which they had planned to move into before Josh got arrested, that sold. They sold the adjacent property around that. They sold this house. And the last thing that they have right now is this tiny mobile home that's on the market for $59,000, and her brother David is trying to sell for her. So every asset that she owned is gone. So Anna is broke. Completely broke. I mean, she probably has some money, but she has no financial nest egg. And I keep thinking about this. Anna, all that money could have gone to your kids and in your future and what you're doing for yourself. Josh could have gotten court-appointed attorneys had the family just cut him off. And instead, she mortgaged her future with her children and their safety and their future and her future, and spent all of the money on Josh, which tells me that Josh is still making decisions and controlling things behind bars. He reminds me of Warren Jeffs. You know how Warren is running a cult from jail? That's how I think of when I think of Josh Duggar. So Anna and Josh have no remaining property left, and they have no more money to do this. So that means moving forward, how are they going to continue to pay for his defense? Well, if all of his money is gone, all of the assets are gone, and there's nothing left, it's going to come down to Jim Bob Duggar, who I'm sure has also been footing a bunch of this defense. So Josh got an extension for his appeal, and I think he'll have that due this week. He needed an extra week to file a reply brief, because remember, the defense, or the United States government, basically decimated his appeal and said that he was just full of crap, and he didn't have any claims for his appeal. So Anna Duggar is broke. Now, another thing I want to tell you is that Michelle Duggar has been returning to blogging. I know you guys care. You know, I told you about his bone broth fast, and he lost 35 pounds, and he's like shedding all this weight, and you guys were like, oh, he went on a starvation diet. And I was like, yeah, I kind of did. That's exactly what Jim Bob did. He's a starving for Jesus for Josh. And I noticed that when I went to her page, that she had updated some new posts, and this wasn't there before. So she posted this in September, but just published it. I don't know how it is, but it's all these photographs from their summer, right? And I noticed that in all of their summer photographs, like, none of Anna or her kids are featured. So the Duggars are like moving on with their lives, and they are, for all intents and purposes, ignoring that Anna exists. So instead of publishing photos of the kids and Josh and Anna, right? They are literally just like posting the rest of their family. And so they go on vacation, and Anna and the kids don't go with them, and they bring all of the kids that still live with them at the time, and Jana's there, and still, I know, sadly, and they post science projects that they're working on, and there's tons of pictures of like Josie and Hannah and Jordan and Jennifer and Jackson, and there's like some photographs of James and Jason, although very few. There's one of Jed, there's a picture of Joseph, but nothing, and there's Jessa went on the trip with them to Florida. I had no idea that Jessa was on that Florida vacation with them. They went to the beach when I was like, oh my gosh, the Duggars are at the beach. But nothing, like, there's no photographs of any of the kids. And I was like, wow, this is like, Anna and the kids, they're either intentionally not putting them up online because they don't want to draw the negative attention that she would bring to the family, because it's a reminder that Josh has done bad things, and it's easier for them to pretend like this didn't happen so that they can save face to their fans. Or Anna doesn't want to be on their Duggar fan page, Duggar website. I don't know how much control Anna would really have, though, when it comes to photographs. But I don't think that the Duggars are spending as much time socially with Anna as they would have had Anna not been so obstinate in this situation and been so defiant and have so many people not want to be around her. I think Jim Bob and Michelle will support her regardless, and I think her relationship with Jim Bob and Michelle is probably fine, but she is not getting along with any of his siblings, and they are not traveling together. They're not spending time together. Anna, in their eyes, doesn't really exist. So the Duggar siblings seem to want to erase the history with Josh and Anna and have them just sort of disappear, and Jim Bob and Michelle are just pretending like she's just not around. I've never seen anything like this. Like, they're returning to the world, and they're like, yeah, life goes on. Here's some pictures from Florida, and we're doing a bone broth, and here's the family. We had the Fall Family Festival. And the Fall Family Festival, mind you, they published Jed's video. So if you're wondering who's doing propaganda for the Duggars, it's Jed. They have literally announced that Jed is their propaganda machine because they published Jed's Fall Festival, and they said, we hosted our annual online Fall Festival. Yay, everyone came. We're the amazing Duggar family. Yes, ooh, and so Jed is the propaganda machine now. So Anna is being removed, scrubbed, I don't know, ignored by the Duggar family, and she has sold off the remainder of her property and going broke to free her husband, who is probably never going to get out of jail. Well, he will when he hits, I think, 2032. So tell me what your thoughts are. Is it really worth it for Anna to go broke for Josh, or are you still like, What are you thinking, Anna? Tell me in the comments below. Bye, guys.